Hi everyone. Well, I'm gonna start this off by saying that I don't know what the hell I'm doing making YouTube videos, but I posted a few years ago, just on some other projects, just walk around type ones. But I've got a project right now that I kind of want to document besides just having pictures of it. So, and I watch a lot of YouTube, and if I saw this project, I'd probably watch videos about it. Now, maybe I'm just one of a handful, but regardless, you're not gonna see much of me, more of the projects. And I don't have any help. I don't have a videographer or anybody like that. So the videos will probably end up being more of picture collage type stuff with captions, because that's just a lot easier for me to both create and edit and so on and so forth. So I'll splice some of those in, but as of right now, this is the project. And this is a and since I can't figure out how to flip the camera while taking video, this is a well, it started as a 1967 International Loadstar 1700. I'm in southeast Michigan, well, not really southeast slash thumb of Michigan area, and this came out of Deckerville area in the thumb, if any of you know that area. It was a family farm owned grain truck. Never left. Body was built in Bay City, Michigan, shipped to that family. Had one owner for about 6 months prior to me buying it. I bought it a little over a year ago. And initially it was going to be a kind of a partial restoration, maybe patina, rusty type look. And then paint it black, the colors of my company that I'm a partner in, landscape company. And kind of have it be a parade truck type thing. Well, the problem is then well, let's see, right around Christmas time this year, I found a 1971 International Fleet Star on Craigslist. Craigslist will be my doom. And both of these trucks, I picked up the grain truck for $900 and gave $1,000 for the Fleet Star. The Fleet Star had this in it, which is why I wanted it. It was a running 671 Detroit diesel. Now, this did not look like this when I bought the truck, and you'll see that in some of the pictures as this video goes on. I've painted it. But I was born in 1980, so when I was a kid, and you should know that I love trucks. My first word was truck. And I can't seem to get away from them. I love the sound, I love the smell, I love the look. Just about any truck you can think of. But when I was growing up as a kid, there was Detroit diesels on the road everywhere. Shoot, there was International Loadstars on the road still everywhere, because they were only 5, 10, 15 years old at that time. Obviously, neither one is something you see much at all on the road. Anything with Detroit diesel, 2-stroke power, or International Loadstar, Fleet Star type truck. So regardless, the new plan became to bring the Fleet Star home and rob it of its driveline. They do share a cab, which was the Fleet Star and the Loadstar shared a cab for this set of years anyway, which makes things a little easier in terms of transferring over pedal assemblies and stuff like that. And all the dimensions add up. Cramming a 671 into a Loadstar with a butterfly hood is tight, but it does fit with very little, no modification to the cab really, other than adapting the doghouse out of the Fleet Star. But basically I stripped everything off, and so this went from being a kind of half restoration into a almost frame off type situation. So where you see it now is the rear axle has been swapped. The Loadstar had a 2-speed, much smaller rear end in it, hydraulic brake. Obviously, this is this 671 has an air compressor, and I wanted to be able to utilize air horns and the stopping power of air brakes. Also readily available brake hardware and parts versus the old International hydraulic brake stuff is few and far between. So So that's a much heavier spec axle out of the Fleet Star, much bigger, but with some new U-bolts, it did bolt right up. You know, locating pins, centering pins, and all that stuff worked with the Loadstar spring setup, which I wanted to keep. Is a dump, obviously it was a grain body. The dump will be operational because this 10-speed that's behind the 671 does have a PTO hydraulic pump. So other than that, stripped all of the motor mounts off of the front, motor mounts, transmission mounts, engine mounts, you name it, off the front of the Fleet Star. Welded in and welded / bolted them into the Loadstar frame. So we've got the front mount for the 671. We have the rear bell housing mounts here, both sides. And then this is a cab mount. It's currently not bolted in place because it can't be until the motor and trans goes in. And then repurposed some sort of cross member from the Loadstar, and this is the rearmost transmission mount that will bolt up, something like that. Anyway, just been working on this frame, sandblasted it as much as I could stand sandblasting because I hate it, but sandblasted it as much as possible to prep for paint, and then been doing a whole lot of scraping and wire wheeling and prepping, getting off 50 years worth of grease and grime. So got side saddle tank mounts for the for using one 50-gallon tank off the Fleet Star, primary fuel filter, some bracket mounts for an underbody box, so I got some place to put stuff. And on the other side, repurposed some side saddle fuel tank mounts to use for a step, welded up a little step to get up into the cab on this side. Battery box mount in that same location. Today I refigured the air tanks a little bit because I had forgotten about the exhaust. So anyway, got those set up. Got the stack support mounted today as well, and also sectioned the bed. Took about 5.5 inches out right here, because as you can see, if you look at the front of those cross members right there and right there, that's where the front of the bed was, but that would not have allowed for the stack. And sorry, but the stack is key to this. And there's just no room to get it out around the cab. The doors wouldn't open then, it'd be in the way of the grab handle, so it needs to go between the cab and the bed. So we just made the bed a little shorter. You know, nobody will ever know the difference. So got the muffler hung, just enough clearance to get around that air tank, and getting that much closer to being able to put a couple coats of Chassis Saver Black on this thing, and then a couple coats of single stage enamel, and then the way it can go outside, get the motor put in, and I can start working on the cabs, which will be a few months. But thanks to coronavirus and Michigan's stay-home order, I'm getting a whole lot of this done that I anticipated taking me into fall of 2020, and I'll have it done in the next week or two. So kind of fun to get a chance to work on this straight through like this. So anyway, I'll throw some pictures up. Hopefully I can figure out how to upload a video properly, and I'll try to keep up doing some videos as I make progress so you guys can see what I'm doing. But basically, you know, it's just going to be a period correct, you know, kind of repower build. I know there's a few Loadstars on the internet. A lot of them are, you know, 24 valve Cummins or DT360s or some newer power plant, and most of them are at least lowered, if not bagged, with, you know, 24.5 or 22.5 inch Alcoas on them, and they look awesome, don't get me wrong, but I wanted period correct. So period correct means Dayton wheels, 2-stroke GM power, and, you know, dingy old grain trucks. So hope you guys like it. Hopefully there's more than just me who thinks this is cool. So anyway, that's it for this one. Bye.